so I've got a quick explainer for you about what the hell is happening with this Trump trial that started this week. And I also want to explain to you why it is really important that we talk about it not as a hush money trial, but as an election interference trial. Basically, the bare bones of the case, lots of people know, but some people don't. So I'm going to give them all to you just very briefly. And I have to go back in time for a second because we have to remember recent history if we're going to understand this case properly. So Donald Trump was in a place in 2016, right before the election, where he was really scrambling because of the Access Hollywood tapes, right? The race was neck and neck, and these tapes came out that were damning. They were disgusting. And in any sane universe, they would have ended his career. But he was hanging on by a thread, but he couldn't take another scandal. He knew it would just end him. And at that moment, Stormy Daniels, who had had an affair with him back when his wife had just given birth to their third kid, was about to come public with her story. And Trump and his people knew he couldn't win the election if she did. And here's how we're getting into election interference. So they paid her off so that she would not tell the story publicly ever again. They gave her $130,000, but not directly. Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer, gave her that money. And then Trump reimbursed him, plus quite a bit more, by the way, for, like attaboy money. And Trump did it through his business. And when he wrote those checks to Michael Cohen, checks he signed himself, he falsified those records and said that the checks were for a legal case that Cohen had worked on for him, except there was no case in this instance. None at all. The checks were simply to reimburse Cohen for paying off Stormy Daniels so that she would not talk about the fact that she had had an affair with Donald Trump when Melania was at home nursing his newborn son. So that's how this goes from being just a business falsification of records case, which would just on its own be a misdemeanor, to the fact that those falsifications were done in pursuit of another crime, a second crime, and that makes it a felony charge. And that second crime, again, is not reporting election expenditures, hiding, election behavior. Basically, it's like an in-kind contribution to his own campaign that he didn't report. That makes it a felony, but it also makes it election interference. It makes it manipulating voters, because it is extremely clear that had Trump allowed that information to come out, he very likely would have lost the election. So it's very important when we talk to people and they say, oh, this is just a hush money case, to really say, no, this was about lying to the American people. This was about depriving them of their right to know everything they needed to know about a candidate so they could make an informed choice about who was going to be leading the country. And this is a pattern, again, that we've seen with Trump over and over again. He lies about everything. And people fall for it. And in this case, they fell for it because he falsified records and manipulated the truth and covered things up. And it deserves to have a trial. We deserve to have accountability for the fact that people were not properly informed about who they were voting for because the person they were voting for covered up relevant facts. And that's what's happening in this case. Please tell a friend.